Hi, everyone. I'm going to touch up the lipstick a little bit. Welcome to our book talk. This All Hallows Eve was yesterday.
This is Halloween.
This is Halloween. Boys and girls of every age can't continue because of copyright.
Hello and welcome to episode 17. Yesterday was episode 16, not 14, like I said. Book
It
talk.
wasn't your fault. The image was off.
I was lied to. Today we are discussing Amelia Atwater Rhodes' In the Forest of the Night, a Den of Shadows book, which I didn't realize this was part of a series. I think you mentioned it multiple times, but I forgot.
Well, it's technically a standalone. I'll explain it in a bit. All right. So, for those who are new to our book talks, essentially it is a series of book streams where CB and I take turns picking a book that we enjoy and the other one has never read. This way, somebody is always in the book's corner. And you good?
I'm good. One of my lights died, so I'll put my backup.
But this way, someone is always in the book's corner, and we just get to share something that we really enjoy, and we discuss. Sometimes we do defend it, and other times we're like, "Yeah, no, I understand." This time, as with all the odd numbers, it was my choice, and since it's October, I chose In the Forest of the Night, which was the first vampire novel I ever read. Also, the novel that I read this when I was 12. It was actually one of my aunt's books, and I asked her if I could borrow it. I never returned it. It is in my house right now.
Wow.
I read it when I was 12, and I read about the author, and it said that she wrote it when she was 12, published it when she was 13, and preteen Sam went, bet, I can do that. And so I decided to become a novelist. I also realized that part of the reason she got it published was she had connections in the publishing industry, but hey, that's just how it goes. Either way.
Probably me. Because I did the same thing, but 15. Not really, but very similar.
Now, technically, I should have let you explain book talk since I'm doing the summary.
Okay.
Oh well. So technically, In the Forest of the Night was written as a standalone, and it can be enjoyed as a standalone. Amelia did continue on to. Essentially, all of her books are written in the same universe until her sci-fi series, their sci-fi series. I need to double check. Amelia has gone back and forth with their pronouns throughout the years, between she and her and they, them. I'm going to go with they, them for now because I can't remember what they currently are. And that's the safer bet. But yeah, they wrote a sci-fi series exploring a lot of queer issues and everything. I think that's around the time they started to accept that their identity might not be entirely cisgender. So, but that's a different series. Other than that, everything essentially takes place within the same world. So the Den of Shadows are the modern time, and then there's also the Keisha series, which takes place way in the past. And I'm obsessed with her world. In the Forest of the Night introduces us to Risica, who is a 300-year-old vampire who was born in Massachusetts in the 1700s. And she has a little bit of coming to grips with her religious upbringing, and if her soul is damned, and then if that's okay. The entire book, there's the present and the past timeline, and in the present timeline, she's just sort of living her life day to day, hunting, being a vampire. She has a tiger that she likes to visit in the zoo because she thinks that the tiger, she has named it Tora, which it just means tiger, so she named the tiger. But and she admires Tora for her beauty and her power and her grace, and pities Tora for being trapped in a cage, which is very parallel to kind of how Risica feels with her fear of her blood brother, because in this world, vampires whom share a sire are referred to as blood siblings, not to be confused with biological siblings. And then
Also,
her blood
mother
mother is her sire. So that's sort of how they relate to each other. Yeah, she's scared of her blood brother Aubrey, and her fear of him and her fear of eternal damnation, and her twin brother's like disappointment or despair over like if her soul would be damned, kind of keeps her trapped from accepting her new life and accepting that even though she is this new vampire Risica, she was born Rachel, and part of her will always be Rachel. And so the present storyline is just sort of very like, for the most part, internal about her accepting that she is and can be both. In the present, let's put the spoiler banner up. I also forgot we have these. scoot to the right. So Aubrey ends up killing Tora, even though so Risica hunts in Aubrey's territory on accident, but then internally she's like fuck. Externally she's like fuck you, Aubrey. I said the F word so many times in the first 10 minutes now, but it's fine. So Aubrey she's essentially trying to give him the finger and leaves her prey in his territory anyway, just to kind of like show him, I'm not scared of you, even though she is very much scared of him. And so she then avoids Tora, but then she's so mad at being afraid of Aubrey, she hunts in his territory again as like her own little form of rebellion.
Yeah.
And he ends up killing Tora in retaliation for this, because Aubrey is also scared of her and wants to keep her afraid of him so that she doesn't retaliate or, doesn't realize she's stronger than him. She also visits New Mayhem, which is the Vampire Central in Massachusetts. It's a secret city run by vampires, but humans can go there and stuff. Vampires and humans can intermingle. People at large in this world don't know vampires exist, but some of them do. And we also have like witches, or Trist are special witches, which have the power to hunt vampires. And there's also shifters. There's a lot of different supernaturals in this universe. But at New Mayhem, we run into Jaeger, whom for my entire life I went back and forth between Jaeger and Jaguar, because I never considered that it could be Jaeger until my read aloud was like Jaeger, and I'm like, that could be Jaeger. I don't actually know how it's intended to be pronounced.
I pronounce it as Jaeger.
Okay. It's probably Jaeger. I'm going to say it's probably Jaeger, because Jaeger means hunter, and his book is Midnight Predator. So, but look, let me tell you, I read this book almost annually for over 10 years, and never once did I think, oh, Jaeger, hunter, until last night. And I am so pleased over this, because Amelia has a very simple naming system, and I love it. So she meets Jaeger, Jaeger is her sire Aether's blood brother. They share a sire, and so technically he's like her blood uncle. And Aether has a habit of turning humans who will end up being stronger than her. And I do not know nor remember. I don't know if it's ever stated, so I don't remember how they determine it, but like there's just, everybody has their own potential for power, I guess, and some people, when they're turned, have a stronger connection to being supernatural.
Yeah, they didn't say how, other than it was ignorant that sensed it old Aether.
There is a convention, which I really enjoy. This is probably one of my favorite vampire things, is that like the older the vampire gets, the more powerful the vampire gets. That makes sense. And then if you feed off of said vampire, you get a portion of their power so that you are now more powerful than them. And I really enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, she meets Jaeger. They kind of bond. I like Jaeger. I dig him. And then later, Tora is killed after this interaction. And then, like, basically after Tora is killed, Rissica has a little emo moment. And then she's like, I am going to annihilate, I'm going to delete Aubrey from existence. I'm annihilating him. I don't give a fuck no more. And she gets dressed up in like a very 90s, 2000s party girl outfit, gold tank top, leather pants. She uses her vampire magic of illusion to put tiger stripes in her blonde hair and makes her eyes gold like the tiger, which noticeably when she was alive, her eyes were gold. In this universe, after a vampire turns, their eyes go black. Potentially because they've lost their soul. I don't think it's ever actually canonized that they have no soul. And so they go to she goes back to Midnight, sits up on Aubrey's table, which she's like, no chairs for me. And Aubrey's like, there's chairs, sis, what's up? And she's like, no. His date books it, and then she and Aubrey fight, and then Aubrey's like, all right, you a bad bitch, just don't kill me. And she's like, why should I spare you? And he's like, drink my blood, then I will never be a threat to you ever. So she does, and Jaeger is essentially disgusted by this. He's like, he shouldn't just let you kill him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bitch, I'm a survivor. I would have been offering it up too. Just like, no. So Rissica kind of, another plot thread. Throughout this book, there has been a mysterious presence who keeps trying to leave her tear-stained letters that say Rachel, and this angers her something fierce. Because at first she thinks it's Aubrey messing with her, because like nobody else would call her by her dead name, essentially. And then like after she feeds off Aubrey and she is running an adrenaline high, she is good to go, she is a happy camper, and then she, like, the mysterious stranger appears again, and she's like, okay, who are you, you stalking mofo? And it turns out to be her twin brother, whom she thought died 300 years ago. But no, it turns out he's a tryst witch, and the entire reason she was turned is because he stopped Aether from feeding, and vampires be petty.
On their other sister, which is an important plot thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a younger, like, half-sister, and Aether was trying to feed from her, and...
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, Alex stopped them, and Aether was not pleased by this, and so she turned Rissica as a middle finger to Alex, whom is the twin brother. And then, you know, Alex is essentially like devastated. He's like, oh no, you're a monster now. And she's like, it's been 300 years and you wait till now to contact me. Nah, I'm sorry. Your sister is dead. I'm doing my own thing now. And the book ends with, I am Rachel, I am Rissica, and I love that. The past timeline is all about like how she became a vampire, which essentially like her brother started developing, her twin brother Alex started developing like these weird powers, and he thought his soul was damned. He thought he was some sort of witch, some sort of demon. He was hyper religious. Rachel, not so much. She was just kind of like, I go to church, I say the things, I think God exists, and, you know, all that. Cool. They have a younger half-sister, whom they both look after, and is assumed to be prettier than Rachel. At least Rachel acts like it, because she's all like, yeah, no, all the boys in town would love to go with my sister. Not I, though. It's fine. But it's not in a, oh, woe is me, I'm average looking or anything like that. No, it's just my sister's really pretty and really popular, you know, which I appreciate the tonal difference there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, Alex is having a lot of internal moral and ethical issues there. And we don't know this, but he had been found by a tryst witch who started training him. And then Aubrey comes in, and he's sort of, he like comes in as if he is a suitor for Rachel, but really he's just menacing Alex by like warning him, because he gives like Rachel a rose, and he's warning, this is a warning to Aubrey, basically, that we're going to take your sister from you. Like you stopped us from taking your younger sister, to take your twin sister. Mm. And then when they come for Rachel, Alex does try to stop them, and
supposedly Aubrey dies, but apparently not.
Well, Aubrey stabbed Alex, but Alex does not die from it, because witches are hardy beings. But we don't know that. Rachel assumes he dies, and in her defense, when she dies, she kind of loses her memory for a while. It's not until like years and stuff. It's over that her memory of being
3 years later, she goes back and her brother's not there, and her dad's acting like they're both dead. So
yes, that as well, which she really loved her dad. She had like kind of taken, the younger sister is their full sister, because their mother died in childbirth. My bad.
Yeah.
Because the dad has remarried. It is just him, the new wife, and the baby sister. And Rachel is very upset by this turn of events, because she had basically stepped up into her mother's role as the caregiver of the family, and now this other woman is here. Which Aubrey appears, and he's all like, you jealous? You jealous. You so jealous. And she's like, no, go away, you annoying pissant.
Yeah.
Because Aubrey loves to fucking menace her. And I don't know the motivations, but I do think in his own way at this part, he was trying to push her into accepting who she was, so she didn't like die or like get killed. Because up until this point, in the past, Rissica has barely been feeding on anyone. Mm-hmm. Right? She's just been eating just enough to stave off the hunger. She tries to only target people she perceives as like bad guys, basically, which Aubrey's like, that's bullshit. Like, who are you to judge who's good and who's bad? Which I'm like, this is a fair point in all honesty, but also like there are things that one can judge. Oh, this is bad. It's okay to eat this person. But Aubrey then like kind of he feeds a little bit on the new wife, and then Rissica like stops him, so he like pushes the new wife at Rissica, knowing that she's starving. So Rissica loses control and starts to feed off the woman, but her dad catches her, and she is horrified by herself and leaves. And from that point on, she never lets herself get that hungry. She still she still kills as little as possible, because they don't actually need to kill to survive. They just need to feed. But she definitely like loses all qualms with feeding off people that night, because she's like, no, it's better if I eat than lose control like that again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that sort of like ends the past timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because this is a very short book, there's not a whole lot to it. I picked this book in my year of favorites, and one or two other people read it. And essentially our biggest complaint is just that we wish there was more.
Mm-hmm.
We wish there was so many things went more into the like world building and stuff. You can tell this is a debut novel from a debut author because there's just so much more that they could have done, and this book could have been quite a bit longer, but it's still a good story in and of itself. So, book summary done. What did you think of the book?
I think it read almost like a short story, a really long one, but a short story. In the fact that,
I do think it's under 40,000 words, so I do think it's technically novella length.
oh yeah, because it gives like the way it just glosses over things, and that kind of like detached, almost ephemeral storytelling style, where it's like we're not grounded in almost any scene in the entire book. Like we're vaguely told what's happening and what's like it's so focused on the head, like what's going on in our head in like even the flashbacks, but especially the present day, where it feels like most
This is like the
stories with that.
definition of third person limited.
Yeah, with most with stories with that setup, that is a short story because it gets fatiguing after a while, or at least I think. Um, I do think it. Yeah, it. I don't think it's. I think it's good. Enjoyable. It's not. I don't like the kind of detached style for anything longer than this, but for this length, I was fine with it. And I do feel like I just wanted to know more the entire time. We just kept moving on from things, and I'm like, bitch, what? Like, even from the main character, what does she do in the modern day other than like hunt and stare at a tiger?
I think you're my assumption is well, firstly, I do agree with you that I want more and stuff. I just think that we're supposed to get that she's just kind of like, so at that point she's so depressed and she's just existing to exist that she doesn't actually do a lot. She just goes from like one old couple to the next, inheriting property, which
Yeah.
I like
The
that
thing
she
about
doesn't
her
kill
coffee
them.
shop giving a fake name, I like that. Watching people, definitely like an outsider, not being in the community of humans, but not being in the community of the supernatural either. I do think the brother reveal was kind of like I figured it was the brother for a
You
while.
feared it was the brother. Okay.
No, I figured out. Like I figured it was the
Oh,
brother.
okay. Yeah.
As soon as there was like tears, I was like, I bet it's the brother.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't think it was supposed to be shocking.
Yeah.
It's just shocking for the character. And sorry, I'm trying not to like go into too many tangents. I just really like this book.
Yeah.
So,
I
no,
think
I really, really, really enjoy the fact that she's mad at him. Like,
yeah.
it's not a tearful reunion. It's not and like, because of how much the book emphasizes how much she cares about his opinions and about his thoughts and everything. But at the end of the book, she is essentially like, she's not all, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh no, you must think I'm a monster and stuff. She's like, oh no, he's literally condemning me for being a monster. When he waited 300 years she's like, I couldn't contact him. I thought he was dead, but he knew I was alive and a vampire, and he waited till now.
That's the part I a little bit have issue with because she's totally justified in that, and I just fully do not understand him. Like there's
He's a shitty person.
like
He's in later books too.
Yeah, but like the fact that like what the fuck has he been doing for 300 years? Like that isn't we don't get anything about that. Or like basically it made the like reveal it's the brother. He's been a witch and he's been stalking her for the past like couple weeks or whatever. It's like why is he angry about her being a vampire now? She's been a vampire. Or why is he like depresso emo about it? Like,
I think through the past and through like the events, what I assume we are supposed to gather as the readers is that he has been so wrapped up in his own shame and moral dilemma that he has just stayed away. Like, he blames himself for her being this, and so he was never able to like confront her, and because she was just sort of existing, like, he felt no need to. But then like she starts agitating Aubrey, and that triggers him to be like, oh, I should reach out. Which, I want it clear, I am not defending Alexander. When I read this, but every time I read this book, I am pissed at him. I fucking cannot stand this man. He also, like, my favorite book in the Den of Shadow series, as much as I love In the Forest of the Night, it's not my favorite book in the series. My favorite book is Persistence of Memory, which I just reread for my October. And Alexander is in that book as well. Such a shitty coward in that book too. like other characters also, they're like, you're nothing but a fucking coward. So like, he's just not, I mean, he's not a terrible person. He's just, he's so
person. Yeah, but I literally wrote down, I was like, I wish he stayed dead. That would kind of make her like her arc.
She wishes he'd stayed dead too.
More satisfying, and him coming at the end, it definitely felt, because I got that he was like Puritan man. I did like the background of being a Puritan in that kind of time period, the late 1600s, and then 1701.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1701 is when she dies. But like growing up,
sorry, I had to math it because I was like, it was 300 years ago. But then I'm like, but this was written in 1900, not 2000. So I had a moment. We're good.
And then her being like, having that background, that religious upbringing, very specific religious upbringing with witch hunts and everything, and then having the brother.
She's specifically from Massachusetts too, which
be a magical person during that also, and his even breaking away from like, I don't know if Satan is real, but I know there are things in the night that are bad. And I was like, that's really interesting. And then he dies immediately after, and then comes back and is immediately like, you're rah. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? How have you not changed? Or you regressed almost over the course of 300 years. But so I think the background is cool, but I almost wish that it hadn't been the full 300 years, because that's just such a fucking long time for nothing to happen.
But like, I think that's part of the point, and that part of adds to her anger, is that like, it's been 300 years. She's like, I didn't have to be alone for 300 years in my own guilt and religious trauma. Like, we could have been together.
Yeah, I understand him, but it's just, I'm struggling or I understand her, but I struggle to
No, I'm saying like plot-wise, I think that like adds to it. Also, like I don't think we're supposed to see him in a positive light at all.
Yeah.
So, like,
he's almost bizarre to me. But other than that, like, I understand her reaction, and I think it's grounded. I definitely see how a lot of your personality comes from her with the fucking sitting on the table. I literally almost like screenshotted that.
Like, let's be clear. My personality does not come from her at all. My personality, but like why I like her.
Okay, yeah.
And when I say this, sorry, go on. So I was just gonna say, when I say like this book, you can see like how it's one of my core things for writing is like the archetypal characters, or the kind of characters that I enjoy specifically in vampire fiction and everything, because she, as like we just talked about, with Interview with the Vampire, Anne Rice had propelled vampires as these humans, like human monsters that like could still have a soul and stuff. And so my introduction into written vampire fiction was this, which is very like obviously influenced by those kind of portrayals of vampires. like the entire introduction to the Den of Shadows and Risica herself is her coming to terms with the fact that she is a monster, but she's also still human. That like she can be both of these things at once. And so like I really enjoy vampire fiction that like comes to that acceptance, really. I don't want to say I shy, but like my preferences definitely lean away from the idea that like, oh, like I'm not a monster, I'm human, or I'm nothing but a monster. I'm like, no, 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 you're different now. You're both. You require the blood of other people to like survive. You're not human anymore, but like you were human and you haven't forgotten that. So I really like that internal dynamic and stuff, and that's something that kind of like continues in the Den of Shadows. So that's why like and in my own writing that like has heavily influenced. Plus a lot of the things that I keep in my vampire lore are consistent with what Amelia has in their vampire lore. The like the ancient thing, the drinking the blood of other vampires being powerful. I 100% still do
I
that.
like the mirror fading as you become more powerful. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Like the give and take. I was smirking because fucking Rise plot where he's trying to find the balance between am I a human, or am I a dragon, and am I both? It doesn't matter. Like that kind of balance is definitely very vampire novel.
Yeah. I love Rise so much.
Rise is just a vampire. He'd be a weird ass vampire. But I think this isn't an insult, but it's gonna sound like an insult because of the colloquialism of the term used in modern day media. But this book is extremely millennial.
I get it. Like, no, I understand.
No, everything I say now, this is a joke. I don't mean this mean, but it almost like you choke on how millennial it is. Like just when she talks, when she styles her hair.
I'm just saying you should have known that though. When I was this was like
not surprising whatsoever. It's not even like grown up millennial. Like
no, it's teen millennial.
Very, teen millennial, and it's just so intense. Where it's like this almost feels like a parody because of how it is in its millennialness. And again, for millennials, I don't mean that as an insult. It's a very specific style, and it is very potent. I was gonna say pungent, but I was like, no, that has bad content. Potent in this.
I mean, it was published in 1999, which she was 13 in 1999 when it was published. So 1999 minus
86.
Yeah, 86. So she is like dead center millennial.
Which I thought,
I was trying to figure out where on the millennial spectrum Amelia actually sat.
I think there's definitely stuff where I'm like, girl, what? Just because there's a singular line mentioning that the little sister burned at the stake. Why you look surprised?
No, I'm just like, they didn't
and I'm like, do you not have any feelings about that?
That definitely should have been explored a little more.
Like, I don't even know if she knew that their sister burned at the stake, but there's no reactions to it or anything. Because it would make sense if she didn't know, because she only went to check on them once.
Yeah.
But then she has no reaction to the fact that her little sister burned at the stake. And I was just kind of like,
it happens.
The only one of them.
Let me tell you, if they burned my little sister at the stake, that would have been my I'm Risica moment.
I'm like, why
accepted that I was a monster 300 years sooner?
Why isn't the next book about the people where she's hunting down the descendants of the people that burned her little sister at the stake?
Exactly.
Which would be evil. But
I will, in a semi-rare instance, be forgiving of Amelia for that, just because of the age they were when they wrote the novel, and I could understand them not grasping the full gravitas of that decision. Although it does feel weird because they grasp the gravitas of so many other situations in the book. So
yeah, I think
I
it
don't
was
know.
more of it's supposed to be like a teaser or something to like explore later. But it in doing so, it kind of like loses. It feels unaddressed rather than just like,
No,
oh, I look forward to that being explored later. But it's more like, sorry, what?
I
Um,
know, right? It's like
Also, the fact that like
perform.
it lightly implied that Alexander was there when their sister was burned at the stake, and I'm like, with his crazy religious shit, what's the deal there? But yeah, so that was one of the things where I was like, girl, what are you doing? Um, Not even girl to Amelia or to Rachel, just girl like to the story, being like, what is going on here? But I do think it is good. I don't know if the style is really my kind of. I like a different style of the book, but this is definitely one of those moments. It's not quite as intense as with the witch sexy series, where I'm like, this is enjoyable, but it's not my thing, and that takes down my
Supernatural singles.
yes, and that takes down my enjoyment. This is almost like this is enjoyable. It's not my thing, but I almost wish it was because I can see how it is possible to enjoy more, but it's just not hitting like ticking some
I
of
will
my
say,
boxes.
I know that you want to write a vampire book and therefore you want to read a lot of vampire books. A lot of vampire fiction is in a similar style. So
Yeah.
this is very typical of vampire fiction. So that's just me giving you a heads up that
I appreciate
which
that.
I'm glad that like that your feelings towards it are not like I can't get through the book or anything. It's just this probably because, like I said, you want to do a lot of research, so you're gonna have to read
I
a
want
lot
to
of
say
similar
something
stuff.
really weird, but
Go
I
ahead.
think you'll agree with it. I feel like this book would be really enjoyable read aloud. Like read aloud in a group setting, like around a campfire or something.
Yes,
Read
I
aloud in a
100% agree.
format where it's almost like you're listening to her talk. Like obviously this it's similar with an audiobook, but I'm like, no, I think the community of having two people experience the story at once would work really well with that kind of detached
Oh,
mindset.
100. I agree that it would be really enjoyable that way.
Weird hot take of how I think this story should be consumed. But
I will in fact be hosting Read Aloud. No, I'm kidding.
uh and then but I do think it does read young, like we've
Oh,
said, but I don't think it reads like unpolished.
well, I do know that they had like they had connections in the publishing industry, like, and it went through but it wasn't like questionable
Yeah,
nepotism. Like they like still went through a thing and had like there's in the acknowledgments and stuff of
yeah.
the editor and everything, which
The
is one
kids,
thing I really love about Amelia's acknowledgments. They always like list all of their critique partners, people who test Reddit for them, and the editors that they work with and everything are almost like they're always in the acknowledgments. So like they went through the process very similar to like how we go through the process, which I think is part of why I've always had the mindset of the process being an important thing, was seeing it in Amelia's acknowledgments and stuff. I'm like, oh no, like you write by yourself, but you don't create a novel by yourself. So
and I think that typically when I say something lacks depth, it means there's nothing more there. But I feel like this implies depth, but we just don't get to see any of it. And that is such
it's like
it's so fucking
I
I
think
can't remember. There's
I
a
think it's
there's a famous short story
Mhm.
writer, and I can't remember which one it is that has like that tone wise is so similar, and it's one of the like I was just talking about it with him with my dad the other day.
Text him real quick. See
Literally,
if he remembers.
I'm gonna start googling like short story writers, but very in the like um not Twilight Zone because obviously that's a TV show, but the
Yeah.
writer he wrote the carnival
Weird.
thing.
Was he a weird fiction writer?
Something wicked this way comes. Who wrote that?
Oh,
Uh,
I didn't know that.
Ray Bradbury. Okay, that's yeah.
Yes.
I feel like there's almost a Ray Bradbury esque
Feel
style
to it.
to this book, especially with it being so short. I'm so happy that I actually got there with my thought process,
So,
and that I enjoy. And I've never been a super big Ray Bradbury. Like I enjoy Ray Bradbury, but it definitely that's why I think it's so like a short story in my head. Is because it feels very self-contained. Like I read this in one sitting, and it feels like I'm supposed to read this in one sitting.
yeah,
Um,
like I told you yesterday, like part of the reason I hadn't suggested we move this stream at all is because I'm like, you're gonna read this in like
I
less
think
than
maybe
2 hours,
it took me 2 hours.
maybe 3.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. With my read aloud, it took me less than 3 hours, so I imagine you less than 2.
But the yeah. So I
We're going to talk about the fact that when I physically read it, it still takes me all day. But anyway,
rip.
slow readers unite.
I
It's
do think
fine. It's
that
fine.
the golden eyes and golden hair.
I love
I did giggle when she lays down on the tiger and her golden hair blends into the golden fur, and I had to look up.
tigers are orange, but
I was
we'll
like,
ignore
tigers
that.
are orange. Either you're a ginger and you need to stop with referring to everything as golden, or no.
This is a very rare tiger.
I'm like,
It's
there's some.
more yellow
I'm
than orange.
looking at so many images of tigers, especially when I was doing my makeup, and I'm like, there are some tigers that look slightly more golden, but not golden blonde. Like she was like, it looks like burnt gold or an old gold coin, and I'm like, so gold but a little dirty. Like what?
Okay, so
um,
I still don't think tigers are this color, but I think she's like implying more of a brass gold, like
yeah,
a dark gold. But like most tigers are still not that color.
they're just orange. Like out of
We
it's
just
almost startling how orange tigers are to a
you
pure.
just gotta like it's just one of those things where it's like you're wrong, but I'm here for it for the story.
You're
So
wrong, but
I'm gonna
it's a pretty
pretend you're
image.
right.
It's in the
So
movie. If I was the director, she'd put her head. We'd be like at half, like very low lighting, so it would blend in enough. She'd put her head down. She'd be crying, and then as she pulls away, the tiger stripes would flow up her hair as she's pulling away,
yes.
and then it'd be matching. Like
I love that
I
part
like
so much.
it's a cute imagery, but I'm like, also, girl, there are two people you have loved your entire life, or you miss so much: your brother and a fucking cat, which is so valid. But
Like you judging her for loving a
it's
cat.
so funny. I'm like, you're a shit brother when she seems more upset about the cat.
There when she's mourning Torah and he doesn't say a thing. I'm the depths of which I hate Alexander. No limit.
It's almost to a point where I'm like, dude, you make no sense. Um,
I will say that like on a personal level, no, he makes no sense to me, and
yeah.
I don't appreciate his existence. From an objective standpoint, I know people like him exist, and I have known people like him exist. This doesn't mean I want them in my fiction, but I can't be like it's unrealistic. Because it is. So oh, I see you've seen Fox's messages now.
I have. Did I respond to them?
Um
Uh
no. Very, very quickly, if you will allow, did you have a favorite character?
The tiger. No.
I
Just
mean, valid.
choosing animals. I liked Jaeger.
Jaeger.
Yeah, he's so
Um,
cute. I don't know anything about him. The fact that he's from like Egyptian, he used to fuck with Greeks. That's hilarious. The fact that he showed up to like a cult and then actually summoned the elements is hilarious. So I'm
he's
like,
good.
you're probably a shit person, but you have pizzazz, so I'm here for it. Yeah,
Which is fair. He's lived for a long time.
yeah, you can't really be a good person after living that long.
In this book, Risica is my favorite. Would you want to read more books in the series?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe if I go over and read different vampire stuff first and acquire a taste for the genre ambiance, the setting, like the vibes. I was trying to look for a better word, but the word I'm looking for is vibes. Then possibly. It's not a never, it's a not now. Sounds like I'm
Okay, hold on.
you down from like a date. It's not a never. It's just
Oh
not
no, you're fine. Not all of the books center around vampires, but there are vampires in all of the books. So,
yeah.
No, that's fine. I ask because the next book is Demon in My View. It is Aubrey is one of the main two characters in the next book. So, but one day perhaps, even if you don't read the rest of the series, you can read my favorite in the series, Persistence of Memory, because there's a were hyena as one of the main characters. And it's the only book I have ever read with a were hyena, and his name is Sassy, and I love him.
His name is Sassy?
His name is Sassy.
Okay.
I don't think that's his real name, that's just the name he goes by.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell my migraines have fucked me up because I literally read this book less than 2 weeks ago, and I cannot remember if that is his real name or not.
Sassy. Go
But
Sassy, yes.
He's a were hyena, and he's so real. I love him so much. All right, but shit! I think that was a spoiler for the book. No, I'm so sad now. Anyway, yeah, because he's not like the POV character. Yeah.
Rip. I might forget. We've talked about it too long that I might remember. But let's move on.
Our next book, Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, Volume 4.
Yeah, it's not like I had it out yesterday. It's on the shelf. The story continues and not ends, apparently. Yeah.
I have to go. I have come here. I have a murderous being hovering for trick or treat time.
Which is so fair. Harass her more. You have to go trick or treating now. I texted you. I messaged you in the private chat.
I know. Both of my daughters are harassing me about Halloween.
I want to go trick or treating, but I'm an adult. And that would just be creepy. So instead of going to a friend's house to watch a movie and paint pumpkins.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us, and thank you for discussing the book and for reading it, and we will catch you all later. Bye.
Bye.